approval agenda, approval of the minutes, approval of the bills. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
All right, Aaron and Lanny, second. All right, so we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Consent agenda is approved. All right, council comments. Al, got anything?
Yeah, I got from somebody today, this letter, pertaining to, same thing we dealt with Brian and other people. Peters were emotional support animals,
Yeah.
and they said they tried to turn this in and it wasn't accepted.
When was it turned in?
I got told it was, they tried to give it to Jim and Jim wouldn't take it.
No, that's not.
I have no idea when it was dated in March of this year. It's actually with one of the people that got a hearing tomorrow,
I'm gonna pass it.
so I think it would behoove us
That's not
to.
true.
And then I got another question or comment. I don't think as council members, we should be harassing our senior citizens or
Brett, can you speak up?
harassing our citizens, our senior citizens and other citizens. I talked to, well, they came to me and it was told to me by Jeremy. He said that somebody went to Terry Pambecker to try to get him removed from the Havelock elevator. And it was also told to me by his wife that they went to Brian to try to get her removed from her position. And I think as council people, we should be above that. So I guess
Did they name any names?
I'm not gonna say names here,
Well,
but they
Well,
know.
The
when you-
reason I ask is not to embarrass you or put you in a spot. Is to know whether we've got a number of people in town that just love to throw jello at the wall to see what'll stick.
Well, the one was Bob, and you were brought up with the bank.
So the one with me and Bob, was you there?
No,
Well, I was.
okay, well, that's good.
When you
Yeah.
said harassment of senior citizens,
Bob, sweet.
oh, Bob's.
See, so.
Yeah, I don't see any reason for that man to lie to me.
Well, I don't see any reason I should lie to you either.
Well, no, I'm not saying,
Let's
I'm
just-
not saying anybody's lying, I'm just saying, as a professional deal, I mean, you brought it up the way I parked in the parking, out on the street. We've got a city guy over there that people have got pictures of, that parks that way too.
Well, then
Well,
you should say
Okay,
something.
hey, we're not getting anywhere here.
No, this is council comments, I've got the right to say it.
I get that, but when we use the term harassment, that's just bold harassment. I don't believe in these cases anybody went anywhere and made any threats. There
I'm
might
not
have been
saying there were
side
threats.
conversations.
A harassment saying I don't like you. I mean, look at the definition.
Okay. Anything else to add to that?
No,
Okay.
I'm fine.
Hey, would you look at this, is this anybody you remember?
I have no idea who this person is.
Yeah.
I
His dad tried to
I
give
don't
it to you.
recognize that name.
Her dad tried to give it to you. Junior,
Well, I'll say no.
okay.
Is this Kyle Buckholz's daughter?
No, it's Curb's daughter.
Oh,
Well, again, I'll say no. It's just patently false. All right. Other comments? You got anything, Lana?
Not at this time, no.
Rob, you got anything?
No, sir. I'm good.
Dan?
I better not.
All right. Let's see here. Acting clerk's comments. Dee?
the new clerk, Brandy Henderson, will start next Tuesday, the 17th. She's given Pocahontas for 2 weeks' notice, and so she'll be starting then. Whenever we have our first meeting, then we will give her the oath of office at that point in time. Even though we both use G-Works, both cities will use it differently, so I'll hang around for a while just to make sure she knows how we've utilized it and everything like that. And then I'll be back to part-time at that point in time. Anyway, that's all I have.
We'll jump down to utility reports. Tony, got anything to report?
Just I had the state come down and inspect me for my gas utilities, and I did very well, and I'm just awaiting the results. About it.
He says they told him he was very organized.
They did say that, but it's, everybody probably thinks that of me anyways.
All right, we'll jump back up to
Harry's
mayor.
here. Harry's here.
Oh, nothing.
Just showed up. Nothing? Okay. All right, jump back up to mayor's comments, got a few things. Civic behavior. I've noticed that, we got some people in town that just like to be disruptive. We had trash cans overturned down at the park, contents dumped out. Those things weigh probably about 50 to 60 pounds. So I'm just wondering the wind didn't blow these over. People do this stuff. A bench was knocked over. That bench basically takes two people to turn it back upright. There's just no need for this stuff. I called Saturn Exteriors to look at our downspouts. We've got young people, I'm assuming it's not adults, young people who love to stomp on them, see if they can flatten them out, so they'll be coming over to do those repairs, unnecessary. Along with the behavior, I got informed by a person who doesn't live here in town of a Facebook post, very troubling to me. I'll leave out the person's name that it originated from, but it says, "Don't forget to go to the next city council meeting. We're going to let those expletives out of the cage. Welcome to Allenville, owner Dan Allen." There's no need for this garbage. I just don't understand it. It's just pathetic. Pathetic behavior. All right, a couple of things to say. We had, at one of the last meetings, we had a couple people spouting off about us not taking comments at that meeting. The state of Iowa has a law, 21.7, in case anybody's interested. Rules of conduct at meetings. The public may use cameras or recording devices at any open session. Nothing in this chapter shall prevent a governmental body from making and enforcing reasonable rules for the conduct of its meetings to assure those meetings are orderly and free from interference or interruption by spectators. Now, we're going to have public comments here. I'm hoping that people will be civil in that process. Because if people continue to be disruptive and threatening, then we'll just cut that off for a while. There's nobody in this community that deserves to be bashed. I also want to cover disorderly conduct. This is Code of Iowa 723.4. Any person who makes a loud or raucous noise in the vicinity of any residence or public building which intentionally or recklessly causes unreasonable distress to the occupants. Anybody who directs abusive epithets or makes any threatening gesture which a person knows or reasonably should know is likely to provoke a violent reaction by another. And without lawful authority or color of authority, a person disturbs any lawful assembly or meeting of persons by conduct intended to disrupt the meeting or assembly. You know, I hate to bring that up, but it's come to that point where people they just act foolishly. The recycling trailers have been temporarily moved down to the truck parking. They will be moved permanently when the school is raised, or the gym complex, or whatever you want to call it, is raised and backfilled, and so sometime probably by midsummer, we should be moving those things over there. Nuisances. State of Iowa is pretty clear on nuisances. Person that creates a nuisance is required to abate that nuisance. If they don't, the city can ask them to abate that nuisance, and if they don't, they'll go to court. There are two processes for that whole thing. One is a nuisance abatement process, the other one is a civic, basically a civic fine. Of course, you gotta go to court to do that. And so tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we have 3 cases over at the courthouse, and then in January, we've got about 9 or 10. Just for people that just refuse to do what common sense dictates. It's wintertime, snow removal. Please don't park your vehicles on the street. We can ticket, we can have them removed. And if they get damaged by a snowplow, good luck with your insurance company. Animal licensing. We've got a lot of people that don't bother to get their animals licensed, dogs and cats. January 1st is a new year. People need to bring their paperwork in, get the new animal licenses. There is a fee, obviously. Need to do that annually. If you don't in 30 days, then the penalties start accruing. So please follow that.
We will be sending out letters this year and doing a better job of keeping track of that. So everybody
Right.
that we know has an animal will be getting a letter from the city.
The last item is we start the budget process. So tonight, as part of our agenda, we will be trying to select a budget workshop date for after the first of the year, so we can start going over all this and get the budget polished up. We have to have it submitted to the state, completed and submitted by the end of April. If you don't, then you get penalized pretty heavily because they don't give you any money. All right. With that said, citizens' comments.
Got one
So we
here.
got one, Mary Ellen.
I'll wait for them. I'll wait.
Okay. All right, then we'll move on. Complaint forms. There are none.
No.
So we'll move on. New business. Sheriff's report.
Everything's been going fairly smooth, handled a few things, nothing major. That's kind of where we're at.
I thought the list was shorter this month.
The list.
It's shorter. I mean,
Oh, as far as the complaints and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, well, when you got law enforcement in town, things quiet down.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, I'll just briefly tell you, we went over and we sat in on supervisors meeting, and we brought up that our 2080 agreement is going to expire this next summer, and we relayed our concerns, and there will be more discussions on that as we go down the road, and we'll craft a new one, and we'll have it in place when this one expires at the end of June. Next up is Lions Club bus shelters. Kevin?
You've all got a copy of this document. The front page is what the Lions Club is proposing for bus stops. They have offered 2 pay for all the expenses of putting them up. At the current time, if you look on the first picture that looks from Beacon, there's 4 locations in Rolfe that they pick up kids. They pick them up by the gazebo park, they pick them up by Strike Park, they pick them up by the Spanish church, and they pick them up over near the swimming pool at the Brick Apartments. I talked to Jeff Halder, and he said that he didn't know any reason that we couldn't, if we okay this, couldn't move the bus stop that's by the Brick Apartments up to the swimming pool, so it would be on city property. And that way it's already covered by the liability insurance of the city for the kids to be there, same as any other city park that we already have. So those are the 4 locations. I will leave, I guess I can't read this is my original copy. Anybody that would like to see what the structure is gonna look like, it'll all be square tubing. We're anticipating an 1.5 inch, 14 gauge square tube, all welded, steel wrapping it. I believe it's gonna be a black roof, red sides for the colors of Pocahontas, and probably white trim just to accent it a little bit. In each one of these locations, we should be able to turn the thing or set it toward the street in such a way that the northwest wind it isn't so cold. It'd just be a little more hospitable for the kids. It will be made out of steel. It should be a structure that will last for a long time with very little maintenance. And it was just thought that maybe our kids would appreciate that as the cold comes about when they're standing waiting for a bus. I know Dan and I both had a little shelter to stand in when we were waiting. And, the kids in town don't have that, so thought we would make that available. The Lions Club will pay for it. It will not be a cost to the city other than they'll have to mow around. Any questions for anybody on that?
I don't have any questions right now.
I'll make mine available in City Hall, so if anybody has a question, they can stop in.
Are these gonna be put on a slab?
Yeah. We're still in the thinking mode of whether we're gonna put them on like a hog slab or if we're just gonna pour slab. If you look on like the 3rd page in there, is a proposal for a foundation.
I'm just thinking the hog slat deal might be better, is that way you can move it?
Right. And I don't see any reason that wouldn't be okay. We probably want to dig it down so it wasn't a trip hazard. You probably want it the concrete level with the grass, so or not very much above it so that you don't create a trip hazard, but that's something that's gonna be down the road a little bit as to how we wanna do that. But yes, you're right, if we can just bolt it to a hog slat, that makes forks and move it to wherever you wanna move it to just really easy. I think a hog slat will be heavy enough to keep it from being a problem with the wind. If not, I guess we'll address that if there's an issue. I really don't think it'll be a problem, but that's a learning curve.
Like, it looks to me like it's laid out like the illustration is, that you do have some gaps in it that the air will not be, it won't be a solid box that the wind can pick up. The air will pass through, pass under, pass around it. And probably a hog slat would likely be good enough for, you know, the slab of concrete.
If it isn't, I know how to fix it, so we will make it work.
But I would like to encourage everybody in town to take a look at this, give us your thoughts on it. You know, what do you think? And give that feedback to myself or any of the Lions or Kevin.
If anybody anybody's got some kids that would be involved in this. I don't know how much they stand outdoors. If the parents bring them to these different sites and sit in the car with them, maybe it isn't necessary. I just know when I was standing at the end of the lane, it was cold. And it was brought up at the Lions Club that not every kid gets to sit in the car. So it might be kind of nice to them. It'll be color coordinated with our school, so it'll show school color, the school spirit. It'll be a improvement for the city of Rolfe to show that we're moving forward and care about our kids. So just kind of a community statement, I hope, for people that are driving by to see that we're trying.
Anybody got anything for Kevin, any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, next up, we need to set a date for the budget workshop. First budget workshop.
Were they looking for a motion for us to approve that or what?
To put those in?
Yeah.
There's a lot of detail to work out yet. Exactly where they're gonna go, that type of thing.
Starting.
There's been discussion about just putting them next to the street. Not a good idea. So where to specifically locate them at the park? Do you put them closer to the corner? Do you put them in the middle of the park? Where do you put them at? Those things gotta get worked out yet. Plus, we're not ready to install them yet. It's not gonna be till, it's gonna be 4 or 5 months before they get around to installing it. So a lot of details gotta be worked out. All right. So we need to set a date for the budget, that first budget workshop in January. Our meeting is on the 13th, I believe.
Yeah.
And the prior Monday is the Lions Club meeting. I don't know of any other meetings for civic groups.
Lana starts, she's probably in Humboldt course. When do you have practices?
Okay, so
So then there's Wednesday, or Tuesday the 7th. Is that right? Tuesday the 7th or Wednesday the 8th?
how do you guys feel about that?
Wednesdays work better for me, but
What's
that's
that,
just me.
which day?
Wednesdays are better.
Oh, let's look at Wednesday then.
Wednesday, January 8th. What time would you like to meet? What time do you get back in town?
So 5:30-ish.
5:15?
Yeah,
Right.
even 5:15.
Yeah, 5:15.
Okay.
January 8th. Dan, will you be on call?
Yep.
Work for you, Rob?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
5:15.
5:15, January 8th, Wednesday.
All right. Let's see. Next item up, Christmas Eve.
Normally Christmas Eve, normally city employees work half a day on Christmas Eve, and take the afternoon, use vacation or comp time. And then, of course, Christmas is a holiday. I think Tony's gonna take more of that week, probably the whole week. He has plenty of vacation time left over. Perry, I think will work probably half a day, right? And I think Brandy's planning on working a half a day. So if that's okay with you guys, there's usually not much going on. I've worked that Christmas Eve before. That's okay with you?
We might as well extend that to New Year's Eve too.
Yep, New Year's Eve would be good too. Is that all right?
So nobody has an issue with that? We'll just call that good then. All right, next is the gas survey program. One is gone. Oh,
We don't get him every time he's standing outside.
It'll just be 2 minutes.
what's that?
2 minutes, I'll be in.
Okay.
Let's go go on to the next one.
Yeah, the next item is furnace incentive for Bob's Suite.
So Bob got a new furnace, and it meets the 96% efficiency, and according to our, rebate, it's $400 that he gets for that. So I would need a motion to pay that in a second, and,
Motion.
Make a motion.
Ann makes a motion in a second.
Second.
Aaron seconds it, all in favor?
you go
Still
to
waiting for Tony, I'll jump down to UDMO contribution.
Okay, yeah, you should have gotten that Upper Des Moines. They like for us to donate to their cause.
That's usually $1,000, right?
Yeah, and that's what they're asking for again, if we want to do that. And again, I sent that out to you.
I move that we give them the $1,000 as you.
Okay, got a motion by Dan, we have a second.
Second.
Aaron seconds it, all in favor? Okay, motion carried.
Let's do health insurance. Okay, is that all right?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, I sent out to you, you'll notice I did write on your paper the amount that it was going up. The first page I gave you was what we pay on Tony and, his family's insurance, and then Perry and his daughter's insurance. And then on the next page, it goes up 6.47% per month. So our increase is $156.89 per month, which turns out to be $5,597.67 for the year. Be our increased premiums for the employees. It's all based on age. Any questions?
No questions?
So I think I need a motion to continue with Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
So moved.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor? And we'll continue.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Tony, give us
I'm up.
your gas survey.
Yes, I didn't bring my sheet with me, I don't know, did,
You got mine?
yeah.
Here it is.
I was looking for a call back from them too to specify, the fees for it, and if it's a yearly fee or just a.
So in the past, him and I created a paper copy that we've used several years. I started it with Glenn, and we send it out to residents, and we don't get a very good return
So
on it.
it's a survey that's required by the state of Iowa to send out to everybody, asking questions about, gas-related things, gas leaks, emergencies, to everybody. And most every town uses this program, which is an online, this other company they make all these calls and online and this and that. And so I've been physically sending them out by mail, and I've been getting a really bad response. So the state's kind of pushing me to upgrade to that. And so I don't have the exact, do you have that email or no?
No, I don't have that.
Okay, yeah, I don't have the fees with me right now, I thought, but it's something that we kind of have to do.
You want me to go in there and see what it is?
No,
Okay. Wasn't it was it 60?
there's a fee, like a $200 fee or something, and then it might be it's gonna be a yearly fee after that,
And
but.
then they will make the contacts with the people. that
Yeah,
they
so this
survey.
company makes all the calls, and does it all kind of for you, and then they print you, email you all the results, and they get way better results doing it that way. So not many towns do it the old way, how we've been doing it, and it's time to upgrade it, that thing. So,
So it's like a robocall thing then?
I don't need a, I mean, you guys can just tell me I'm good to go, or if you guys agree or disagree, it's something that I kinda have to do, by the state, but.
Thoughts?
Not getting response in the manner that we're doing it,
Yeah,
and we're required to do it,
Yeah.
so I don't see the.
We've been doing it every 2 years
Yeah.
for a long, long time.
yeah, and it's just, the results are getting worse and worse, somebody,
You know, have a motion to go ahead and.
You have to have a motion for this?
Probably wouldn't need that.
you can get,
I move that we go forward with it.
Have a second on that? All in favor? All right.
thank you.
All right, next up, ordinance 246, cargo containers. This is another reading here.
Second.
So, being enacted by the City Council of Rolfe, Iowa, Section 1, new chapter, Code of Ordinances of the City of Rolfe, Iowa is amended by adding a new chapter 154 entitled Portable Storage Containers, which is hereby adopted to read as follows. Chapter 154, Section 1 is the purpose, Section 2, definitions, Section 3, residential property, Section 4, non-residential properties, Section 5, stacking, 6, good repair, 7, residential use, 8, compliance, 9, conflicts, 10, violation penalty. So, the purpose for this chapter is to regulate the placement within the city of certain portable storage containers in order to protect the public health, safety, and welfare, and promote the aesthetics of residential and non-residential properties within the city of Rolfe. Definition, excuse me. A portable storage container is defined as a container fabricated for the purpose of transporting freight or goods on a truck, railroad, rail car, or ship, including cargo containers, steel cargo containers, shipping containers, freight containers, portable storage containers, cargo boxes, sea vans, or storage units that are placed within the city boundaries and used for the storage of clothing, equipment, goods, household or office fixtures, furnishings, construction materials, and merchandise. Residential property, the use of a portable storage container on property used for residential purposes is prohibited except as for the following uses. Portable storage container may be used on a residential property when a building permit has been issued for construction of a residential unit on that parcel. Portable storage containers shall be allowed to remain on the residential parcel during construction only. Portable storage container must be removed within 10 days after the completion of the construction project or expiration of the building permit. Paragraph B, portable storage containers shall not impede traffic or pedestrians. No portable storage container shall be located in a fire lane, public utility easement, or on a public right-of-way, including streets, sidewalks, and parking strips. For non-residential property, portable storage containers are prohibited for use on non-residential property except as follows. Portable storage containers may be used for shipping and receiving merchandise and goods, provided that the storage container does not remain on the property for more than 5 business days. Portable storage containers, paragraph B, portable storage containers may be used for storing merchandise or goods sold or used at a non-residential property on which it is located, provided that the portable storage container is in an area that is not visible from any public street, it is not in any designated parking area, fire lane, or public right-of-way. Paragraph C, portable storage containers may be used for construction or remodeling purposes when a building permit has been issued for construction on the non-residential property. The portable storage container must be removed within 10 days after the final building inspection or after the building permit has expired. Paragraph D, portable storage containers may be used for commercial, long and short-term rental storage of goods and property provided. 1, the rental container is owned and rented by an agent or company that is registered with the state of Iowa and the city of Rolfe as a rental storage business and is bonded or otherwise insured for said rental storage business purposes as is necessary. And 2, the rental container is located on a parcel owned by the agent or company. And 3, the rental container is located so that it is not placed upon or in front of the parcel, in a fire lane, in a public utility easement, or in a public right-of-way, including streets, alleys, sidewalks, and parking strips. Stacking. Portable storage containers may not be stacked above the height of a single container, and the stacking of any other materials on top of or around any storage containers shall be prohibited within city boundaries. Good repair. Portable storage containers must be kept in good repair and be secured against unauthorized entry and comply with any state and local health regulations. 2, a portable storage container is not in a state of good repair when it is incapable of being removed intact, contains holes in the container due to damage or rust, cannot be secured against unauthorized entry, or has become infested with vermin, insects, or other pests. 3, a portable storage container that is deteriorated and is no longer in a state of good repair must be removed immediately. With regard to residential use, a portable storage container may not be used as a dwelling or living quarters. A portable storage container may not be used for camping, cooking, or recreational purposes within the city boundaries. Compliance. A portable storage container existing on any property in the city on the date of final passage of this ordinance shall either be removed from the property or brought into compliance with the provision of this ordinance within 60 days of the ordinance's effective date. Conflicts. In the event any conflict exists between the provisions of this chapter and other currently existing provisions of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Rolfe or other ordinances of the city, the terms and provisions of this chapter shall take precedence. Violation. Penalty. Violation of the provisions of this chapter shall be deemed a municipal infraction, a fine, pursuant to Code of Iowa, Section 364.22, and subject to enforcement and remedial action as permitted thereunder. Section 2, repealer. All ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict with the provisions of this ordinance are hereby repealed. Severability clause. If any section, provision, or part of this ordinance shall be adjudged invalid or unconstitutional, such adjudication shall not affect the validity of the ordinance as a whole, or any section, provision, or part thereof not adjudged invalid or unconstitutional. When effective, this ordinance shall be in effect from and after its final passage, approval, and publication as provided by law. We have the first reading last meeting. This is the second reading, so I need a motion to approve the second reading of this ordinance.
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I need a roll call vote.
All right.
Okay. Rob? Dan?
Aye.
Lana?
Aye.
Al?
Yeah.
Okay.
You say yes?
All ayes. Now, that's the second reading. Now, we have the ability to suspend the third reading if that's what the council would like to do. Okay, Aaron makes a motion to suspend the third reading. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Rob seconds it, so we need a roll call vote. Lana?
Yes.
Aaron?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Al?
Sure.
Okay. Third reading is suspended. The mayor declares the ordinance passed and approved and adopted by the city of Rolfe on the 9th day of December 2024. All right. In your package, you'll find there's a resolution fixing the date for a meeting, a public hearing on the proposition to authorize a loan agreement not to exceed $325,000 for the issuance of a general obligation capital loan note. This is for a bond to pay for to reimburse the city for several things that we've already paid for, such as the repair of the street in front of the post office that goes down to Railroad Street, to reimburse the city for the cost of the asbestos abatement at the gym complex. And then there's also a water tower maintenance cost that will reimburse the city for, and we'll be able to use that. The reimbursement will be able to use the money elsewhere for necessary projects. Then, if I remember correctly, there's 175 ash trees that need to come out, and the majority of the funding is to pay for that cost. And then there is a wedge in there for the possibility that we might be looking for a newer second vehicle for the city utilities. It's all in there. I will go ahead and read the resolution. It's going to be
This will be a fun one.
yeah. As soon as my computer catches up with it.
Here, do you want it right here?
No, I've got it here.
Okay.
Okay, this will be resolution 742. So, this is a resolution for fixing the date for a meeting on the authorization of a loan agreement for the issuance of not to exceed $325,000 of general obligation loan notes of the city of Rolfe, state of Iowa, for essential corporate purposes and providing for publication of the notice thereof. Whereas it is deemed necessary and advisable that the city of Rolfe, state of Iowa should provide for the authorization of a loan agreement and issuance of general obligation capital loan notes to the amount not to exceed $325,000 as authorized by sections 384.24A and .25 of the Code of Iowa for the purpose of providing funds to pay costs carrying out essential corporate purpose projects as herein after described. And whereas the loan agreement and notes shall be payable from the debt service fund. That's where the money will be parked. Whereas before a loan agreement may be authorized and a general obligation capital loan note issued to evidence the obligation of the city thereunder, it is necessary to comply with the provisions of the Code of Iowa as amended and to publish a notice of the proposal of the time and place of the meeting at which the council proposes to take action for the authorization of the loan agreement and notes, and receive oral and or written objections from any resident or property owner to the city for such action. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Rolfe, State of Iowa, that this, section 1, that this council meet in the council chambers, City Hall, 319 Garfield Street, Rolfe, Iowa, at 6 p.m. on the 13th day of January for the purpose of taking action on the matter of the authorization of a loan agreement and issuance of not to exceed $325,000 of general obligation capital loan notes for the essential corporate purposes, the proceeds of which notes will be used to provide funds to pay the costs of construction, reconstruction, and repairing of street improvements, including the construction of the 2024 project, the street repair project, and acquisition of a pickup truck, equipment of works and facilities useful for the collection, treatment, and disposal of sewage and industrial waste in a sanitary manner, including acquisition of a pickup truck, equipment of waterworks, water mains, and extensions useful for providing potable water to the residents of the city, including acquisition of the pickup truck, removal and replacement of dead and diseased trees in and on the right of way, city parks and public grounds, demolition of abandoned, dilapidated, or dangerous buildings, structures, or properties, or the abatement of a nuisance, including the removal of asbestos and demolition of the city-owned building locally known as the Ram Center, located at 506 Des Moines Street, City of Rolfe, and refunding and refinancing outstanding indebtedness to the city, including the lease purchase agreement water meter project dated December 5th, 2023. Section 2, to the extent of any of the projects or activities described in this resolution may be reasonably construed to be included in more than one classification under subchapter 3 of the chapter 384 of the Code of Iowa, the council hereby elects the essential corporate purpose classification and procedure with respect to each such property or activity pursuant to section 384.28 of the Code of Iowa. Section 3, the clerk is authorized and directed to proceed on behalf of the city with the negotiation of terms of a loan agreement and the issuance of a general obligation capital loan notes, evidencing the city's obligation to a principal amount of not to exceed $325,000, to select the date for the final approval thereof, to cause to be prepared such notice and sale information as may appear appropriate, to publish and distribute the same on behalf of the city and this council, and otherwise take all action necessary to permit the completion of the loan on a basis favorable to the city and acceptable to the council. Section 4, that the clerk is hereby directed to cause at least one publication to be made of a notice of the meeting in a legal newspaper, printed wholly in English language, published at least once weekly, and having general circulation in the city. The publication to be not less than 4 clear days, nor more than 20 days before the date of the public meeting on the issuance of notes. Section 5, the notice of the proposed action to issue notes shall be in substantially the following form. And it's basically a regurgitation of what I just said. It'll go into the paper. They won't have the section numbers and so on and so forth in there. So, basically I need a motion to go back up here and read exactly what it says here. We don't want to booger this up. Okay, we need a motion to introduce this resolution that I just read, for action to adopt it. So do I have a motion to introduce this resolution?
Motion.
Okay,
Second.
motion made by Rob,
Second.
and seconded by Dan to adopt this. So I need a roll call vote. Aaron?
Aye.
Lana?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Rob?
Aye.
Dan?
Right.
Okay, 5 ayes. So, the vote was 5 ayes, no nays. So, based on this, the mayor declared the resolution duly adopted. This followed resolution fixing the date for the meeting, and it shall be 6 o'clock on the 13th of January.
It'll be part of the regular meeting.
What's that?
That'll be part of the
Part of
regular
our meeting.
Yep, okay.
There will be meetings later on where we will have to have 2 meetings in an evening because you can't combine some of these actions. That's more for the budget. All right, got that out of the way. Now I need to get,
It should be a nuisance abatement. Oh, bond council engagement. Yeah, sorry about that.
okay, included in your package was a bond council engagement agreement. I'm not gonna read through that thing. basically tells the parameters that our bond counsel, which is Ehlers and Cooney out of Des Moines, what they will be doing for us. And so need a motion to accept that agreement.
So moved.
Aaron, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and that's approved by action of the governing body on 9th of December 2024. There is also an agreement from the financial, municipal financial council that we're working with, but that does not have to be approved or signed. It's just a copy that, excuse me, they sent me. Goes into the big file that we're gonna be keeping on all of this. All right, next item up is nuisance abatement. I think I already alluded to it earlier. We have 3 hearings tomorrow morning between 10 and 11 at the courthouse. And then we have more scheduled for January. And we'll go and we'll see what happens. All right. In case there's any questions, Dave Christensen was through this last week again. Took some more pictures, gave some more letters. So we'll just go down that road again with more people. We have those, we'll put in the binder that we keep in City Hall. All right, next up is employee annual review. These are confidential, so we'll have to ask people to leave. We'll go into closed session.
Tony and Perry, why don't you ask to go into closed session?
Can we go into closed session?
Okay?
Need a motion.